All right, I thought this would be interesting. This is a streamer that goes by the name NMP, and he breaks his silence, about the divorce that he had.
Let's talk about the divorce. So I've been away for quite a while. Let me tell you why. At this point, the case is over. I've been trying to get this divorce settled. It was a lot longer process than I thought. The divorce was filed by Melena in January of 2025. We had split up the previous year. It was amicable. We tweeted about it on Twitter. Everyone saw that. And the divorce ended up being officially filed by her in, like I said, January. I sent Melena a 50-50 offer down the middle in April of that year. She did not accept it. I did not know what she wanted out of this divorce until mediation, which was actually in November. And essentially what she wanted was the same thing she wanted in trial, and that's what we have here. I warned Melena that trial would be very expensive. It would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but still we had to go to trial, and you'll see why. So bear with me now. We are gonna go into some legal documents. What I have here is what they call Melena Midtoy Palom's First Amendment disposition of issues. So this is essentially what she wanted. I'm gonna read the document to the best of my ability because I can't read very well, but I'm gonna explain things so everyone can kind of understand what she wanted and how it went down.
I bet these documents are gonna be very spicy. Let's see what we have here.
So the first thing that she wanted was to grant the divorce between the parties on the grounds of insupportability. This is very important, and I'm explaining exactly what that means right now. In Texas, a divorce can be granted on the grounds of insupportability, which is the state's no-fault divorce ground. The Texas Family Code defines insupportability as a conflict or discord of personalities between the spouses that destroys legitimate ends of the marriage relationship and prevents any reasonable expectation of reconciliation. In practical terms, it means neither spouse has to prove wrongdoing, no evidence of adultery, cruelty, abandonment, or other fault is required. The court only needs to find that the marriage has become unworkable and that reconciliation is not reasonably expected. So you can file divorce on other grounds, and I'll explain what those are. Cruelty. You can file for adultery, which didn't happen, conviction of a felony, abandonment, living apart, etc.
Okay, so what I understand from this is she basically trying to take all the money and destroy his reputation as well. If I understand correctly, if I didn't, please explain to me in the comments, fellas.
She filed on the grounds of insupportability. Next, award Melena Midtoy Palom a disproportionate shares of the party's estate for the following reasons, including but not limited to. So she wanted more than 50-50. Respondent's economic and financial abuse of the petitioner, respondent's failure to permit access to the party's community property accounts, including for purposes of insight and access to such community funds, benefits the innocent spouse may have derived from continuation of the marriage, disparity of earning power of the spouses and their ability to support, earning power, business opportunities, capacities, and the ability of the spouses, nature of the property involved in the division, waste, and attorney's fees to be paid.
Just by listening to what he's saying right now, this sounds like a really expensive divorce, I'm not gonna lie.
The judge, in order to grant Melena her disproportionate share, would have to find something that fits those sort of grounds. Any of those bullet points that I read off. Next, confirmation of Melena Midtoy's separate property as outlined in the attached spreadsheet, meaning that there's an attached spreadsheet here that has her own property in it. Makes sense. Next, order Melena Midtoy Palom's waste claim for Nicholas Michael Palom's excessive expenditures. That was over $100,000 they had claimed against me. The next thing she wanted, and this is one of the reasons why we had to go to trial, order Melena Midtoy Palom's request for post-divorce maintenance for a period of 5 years from February 1st, 2026 in the amount of $5,000 a month. So
what the fuck? What is a post-divorce maintenance? Let me Google this shit. Post-divorce maintenance, often called alimony or spousal support, is a series of ongoing financial payments made by one ex-spouse to the other after a divorce is finalized. Oh, she wants alimony. So basically, she didn't want to take the 50-50. She wanted more, and also $5,000 a month for a period of 5 years. This is why I said this divorce, just by the first documents that he's reading for us right now, sounds really expensive.
So she wanted me to pay her $5,000 a month for 5 years. We don't even have kids.
Oh my god.
Yeah, how them? Behave them.
Oh my god. This girl is crazy.
Next, and this was the biggest one, the most important one, and it's gonna take some time to explain it because this is also why we really had to go to trial. Order Melena Midtoy-Palm be granted a judgment against Nicholas Michael Palm with specific language securing such entrance against the shares and stock held by Nicholas Michael Palm with his interests in OTK Ventures, OTK Media, and King's Gaming Labs Incorporated.
Oh yeah.
So this
oh
is
yeah. Oh yeah. She wants she wants everything. She wants everything. She wants everything, and she wants to take him down and destroy him and tarnish his fucking reputation. Everything. She want to take everything. This is a mentally ill person. The greed that this woman have is fucking insane. It's beyond my imagination.
So this is essentially the crux of the entire trial. I mentioned earlier that Melena wanted a disproportionate share of the estate. She wanted a 60-40 split of the entire estate, but it was a little bit more complicated than that. What she wanted to do essentially was have her 60% be all cash and my 40% be heavily weighted in my OTK shares. She wanted about 90% of the cash reserves, plus she wanted me to pay her this post-divorce maintenance, and my 40% would be essentially all in my OTK shares, which no one really knows what those are worth. This was the biggest point of contention in the trial for me. I don't think anyone would have accepted the offer that was presented in front of them. Essentially, it would drain me to 10% cash reserves, be in debt a whole bunch of money. So I would put a lot of trust in those OTK shares being worth something someday. So
Brother, like this is crazy. This is crazy. It just keeps getting crazy and I don't know what kind of lawyer his ex have, but I think they're both mentally ill.
So that is just about half of the document, and I don't know if I should say this, but now it gets kind of funny, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Up next is a section called income taxes, and let me read this for you. Order that any refunds received from the date of marriage through the date of divorce be divided equally by the parties, with Melena Midtoy being entitled to 50% and Nicholas Michael Palm being entitled to 50%. So if there was a tax refund, she will get half of it, I will get half of it. Makes sense, right? Order any liability from the date of marriage to the date of divorce be paid solely by Nicholas Palm. So if there was a tax bill, I would have to pay for all of the taxes. But if there's a refund, Melena will get half of it.
Oh my god. Brother, bro. This is just getting ridiculous.
Order that the parties file separate tax returns and partitions as January 1st, 2026, and each party be liable for their own respective taxes for 2026 and each awarded respective returns for 2026. Makes sense to me. Up next, injunctions. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. I'll try my best to explain it for everyone. Order Nicholas Michael Palm be restrained and enjoined from making any public statements, whether written, verbal, or visual, regarding the ongoing litigation and the parties' divorce, unless mutually agreed upon in writing by the parties and filed within the court.
Basically, this is what a dictator does. This marriage was a dictatorship from her side. She want to take all the resources. She want to let him deal with the taxes and all of the fees and stuff. And she wants him to keep his mouth quiet about it.
It says that me, and you notice her name's not there, but me and me alone can't talk about it. And then the next line is, strictly in the event the court does not grant the requested permanent injunction, Melena Midtoy Palm requests the court after trial on the merits to grant the following permanent injunctions enjoining the parties, their agents, servants, employees, and attorneys. So pretty much everyone involved this is the following injunction. Directly or indirectly disseminating, publishing, or causing to be published, or directly or indirectly requesting a person disseminating or publishing any letter, story, statement, correspondence, description, or depiction of any kind whatsoever, including on any social media, whether fictionalized or not, which is or could be reasonably interpreted to be disparaging, negative, or defamatory in its description of the other party's personal, professional, private, or family life, including without limitation the business or the financial affairs of the other party. So essentially anyone involved with me whatsoever cannot talk about this divorce. Spoiler, that did not get granted because obviously we're talking about it now.
Oh my god, bro. This woman is treating this man like she owns him. She is vicious. If this girl was in North Korea, she'd do a fantastic job.
I'll explain why that didn't get granted, because essentially that's an infringement on my First Amendment right to the Constitution of the United States of America, which is freedom of speech.
I think she thought about that.
Requests the court order Nicholas Michael Palm to pay reasonable attorney's fees, expenses, and costs through trial and appeal, and a judgment should be rendered in favor of Melena Midtoy-Palom against Nicholas Michael Palm and be ordered to pay directly to Melena Midtoy-Palom. Melena Midtoy-Palom request post-judgment interest as allowed by law. Also, it says Melena Midtoy-Palom requests the court deny any and all of Nicholas Palom's requested relief filed with the court. So that's a lot. I'll explain quickly what she wanted. She wanted a 60-40 split because of her reasons listed. She wanted me to pay her $5,000 a month for 5 years. She wanted the majority of my part of the split to be locked up in my OTK shares. She wanted me not to be able to talk about the case whatsoever. She wanted the things about taxes. She also wanted me to pay her lawyer fees. So
she basically wants control. That's what she wants.
What did I want? Let's get into it. It's not going to be as long as what she wanted, so we'll keep it plain as possible. I'll read it as is, just like I did with hers. Number 1, grounds of divorce. Nicholas Michael Palm requests that the court be granted a divorce on the grounds of insupportability. There's that word again, insupportability. This is the only thing that we agreed upon in the entire case, which is good. It really is. Next, division of community property. Nicholas Michael Palm requests that the court divide the community estate in a manner that the court deems just in right as provided by law and set out in Exhibit A attached hereto. So Exhibit A is essentially an exhibit with spreadsheets, and it ends up being a 50-50 split down the middle. Stocks, shares, cash, everything. Next, separate property. Nicholas Michael Palm requests that the court confirm and assign his separate property to Nicholas Michael Palm as set out in Exhibit A attached hereto. So my stuff is my stuff. Melena also had her stuff. Her stuff is her stuff, which makes sense to me. Next, waste and reconstitution. Nicholas Michael Palm requests the court to find that Melena Midtoy-Palom has committed waste on the community and to reconstitute what ought be the actual existing value of the estate as a part of the court's just and right division of the community estate as set out in Exhibit A attached here too. So just the waste claim, essentially she had one against me, so I had one against her. I'm not trying to get into the gritty details of that. Next, attorney's fees. Order Melena Midtoy-Palom pay a portion of Nicholas Michael Palm's attorney fees, expenses, and costs, rendering a judgment against Melena Midtoy-Palom in favor of Kirker Davis LLP attorneys for Nicholas Michael Palom, and order Melena Midtoy-Palom to pay such a judgment directly to Stephen W. Payne and Kirker Davis LLP, who may enforce the judgment in attorney's own name with post-judgment interest as allowed by law. Attorney's fees. And then my last thing that I asked for, request for Melena Midtoy-Palom. Nicholas Michael Palom requests that all relief requested by Melena Midtoy-Palom be denied. So essentially what I'm asking for in this is a clean 50-50 split down the middle, just like I wanted back in April and March of 2025.
And this is why, and I hope you learn from this in your next relationship, or if you're considering getting married again, make them sign a prenup. Make them sign a prenup. Simple. So there is no confusion if divorce happens or anything like this, like God forbid. But this person right here that you divorced wants to take control of you. She's acting like she owns you. But let's see what the court ruling is. Side note, I'm not optimistic about it.
The court's ruling, this is what everyone's been waiting for, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Dear counsel, from January 12th, 2026 to January 13th, 2026, the court presided over this case and took it under advisement. The ruling of the court is as follows. Divorce is granted on the grounds of insupportability. It's good.
Okay.
That's what I wanted. That's what Melena wanted. It's a no-fault divorce. Next, division of community property. 50% to Mr. Palom and 50% to Miss Palom, with the exception of King's Gaming Lab, Starforge, ordered to be split 55% to Miss Palom and 45% to Mr. Palom. The court finds that the disproportionate share of those funds are warranted due, number 1, the disparity of the earning power, number 2, nature of the property involved, and 3, waste. So let me explain, before everyone gets all excited, what that means. I have a very small ownership in Starforge. She gets 5% more than I do, and if you do the math, it ends up being about 15K. If you remember during Melena's disposition of issues, she had asked for a 60-40 split because of things like economic and financial abuse of the petitioner. She did not get that. The community estate was essentially just 50-50 split down the middle, with the exception of Starforge, which is about a $15,000 extra towards Melena. And it makes sense to me. I will probably earn more than her going forward, and that seems pretty fair to me. Up next, and this is very, very, very important because it has to do with my shares. Nick and NNP LOL are designated as constructive trustee for Miss Palom's interest. So what that means, I don't have to send her my shares. I don't have to send her cash for the shares. I will hold her shares in my name until they're sold, if and when they're sold. So that was a big, big
court
deal
ruling.
for me. Doesn't put me in generational debt, and if they sell, they sell. Up next, attorney's fees, denied. Each party pays their own attorney's fees.
Facts.
Motion to seal the court records, denied. Injunctions, denied. Post-divorce maintenance, denied. That means
W court ruling, W court ruling. I was saying I was not optimistic, but W court ruling, man. W court ruling. Put some W's in the chat. Put some W's in the comments.
post-divorce maintenance, denied. That means me not being able to talk about the case was denied.
Yeah, you want alimony and you don't even have kids. How does that make any sense? How could you be so stupid and ask for something like that and you don't even have kids?
Each party is to keep credit card in its debt in their own name. Each party to keep household furnishings in their possession. So all the stuff in this house is mine. All the stuff in hers is hers. Each party to keep their jewelry and personal items. So for example, that necklace that I wore, I get to keep. Pokemon card collection to be divided equally. Mr. and Mrs. Palom to each keep their own online skins. Magic the Gathering card collection to be divided equally. The Super 73 bike is awarded to Miss Palom. Each party to keep ownership of their own social media accounts. 2023 Cadillac Escalade is awarded to Miss Palom. 2021 Nissan GTR is awarded to me. So that was the court's ruling. To summarize.
No, I was gonna show on the court ruling, but W court ruling. I'm not gonna lie. W. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop watching there. Let me just see what people are saying in the comments. She wanted 60-40, he wanted 50-50. They got 40-40, and the lawyers got 10-10. Bro, and he warned her. He said that this is gonna be expensive, but the greed of this woman, bro, like, is crazy, insane, beyond my imagination, as I said. Moral of the story: study to be a lawyer and specialize in divorce. Yeah, I think if you're a divorce lawyer, I think you know your way around if you're getting divorced. Lawyers are the real winners here. Bro, actually, like, this is fucking insane. Asking for 60% in a no-fault amicable divorce, real show of character there. Bro, she's the female Kim Jong-un, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, monetize the game and facts. Biblical levels of greed, bro. Insane. Like, this level of greed is insane to me, bro. This is why I always tell you fellas, as a successful man, if you have resources and you have like assets, be sure to sign a prenup. Always make them sign a prenup if you're gonna get married. A prenup makes total sense in this day and age. It wasn't making sense 2 decades ago, but right now, make them sign a prenup. Refusing 50-50, demanding 5K a month for 5 years. Fucking crazy, bro. Bro, I can't even understand how she thought a request like that would be approved. But yeah, man, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, fellas.